Welcome back to Just a Minute, Just a Mishnayos. This Mishnayos the Nishmas, Fred Ale Basracham, the Schos of Yitzchak Ben Gila, and the Frost, Sir Bashtivish, the Fuhr Shlema. So Mesachas Gittin, Parak Beis, Mishnah Gil, Mishnah Dalad, Bakal Kosvin. So now we've got we're talking about how you write a get. So you can use any type of ink, B'di, which is regular ink basically, Basam, which is yellow type of dye, Besikra, which is a red dye, Ubekaimais, which is sap, Ubekankatim, or it's like a black dye which was used for painting or for coloring things. And anything which, when you use it to write, it stays. So any of those things you can use to write the get. You can't write the get. You can't write it using let's say. So there's two types of fruit juice basically. There's regular fruit juice, and then there's let's say strawberries or wine, like strawberry juice or wine, which has a strong impression. So even though it has a strong impression, it doesn't stay properly, so we can't use that. Not with any other fruit juice. And anything which won't stay clear, that we can't use to write a get. Al-Hakal Kaisin, we can write now, we're talking about the paper, you can write it on anything. On a leaf from an olive tree, chapara, or on the horn of a cow, and then he gives her the cow as the get, or we can write it on the hand of his slave and give it to her, and give the slave to her. Rabbi Yosef it doesn't agree with the Chacham, and he says that you can't write on anything which is living, which would include a slave or a cow, and you can't write it on anything which is edible. Mishnah Dald, in Kaisim b'mechubel karka, you can't write the get on anything which is still attached to the ground. So like we said before, you could write it on a leaf, so you couldn't write it on the leaf if it was still attached to the tree. If they wrote it, let's say, on this leaf while it was still attached to the tree, and then they pulled off the leaf and signed it, and then he gave it to his wife to divorce her, so then it's a kosher get. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it's possible. It's the only way it can be kosher is if it was written and signed once it had already been pulled off. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Omer ein kaisvin layal al niyar harmachok v'layal al hadiftara. So niyar harmachok is a type of paper which basically when they would want to erase something, they would peel back. They would peel back. It was made up of lots of very thin layers. So if they want to rub something out, erase something, they would pull back a layer. So we can't use a paper which has already been erased once, because then they could just, after it's been signed, just pull back another layer and write whatever they want. You won't be able to tell the difference. It's the same thing nowadays when you rub something on a paper. Afterwards, you can see that something's been rubbed out there before. So if you write the get on it and then they rub something out and write something else on it, they won't know the difference because it looked rubbed out before, it looks rubbed out now. They can't tell the difference. You can't use that, and you also can't use the diphthera, which is unfinished parchment, which is very thick and very easy to change around basically. Because with diphthera and niyar which we just spoke about, it's very easy to forge a get using them. But the Chum say no, we don't worry about that, and those are today's Mishnayos.